Hey guys, this is Maniac.
And I'm Pineapple. And today we are doing a review on a beloved game that we've been super excited to do now for a while, Gotham Knights. And to start off, we're going to pass it over to Maniac to talk about the fun factor.
Yeah, like Pineapple said, we base games off of 5 factors: fun factor, graphics, gameplay, setup, and lost ability. I'll talk about the fun factor. And the fun factor for this game is definitely there for me and Pineapple, because I was expecting a lot and Pineapple was expecting quite a bit, but not as much as I was. And they definitely pulled a Warframe, and later in the video we will let you know what pulling a Warframe is. But yeah, that aside, we were talking about when we were playing the Arkham games before they announced Gotham Knights, or early in Gotham Knights development. We were talking about how much fun it would be to play co-op Batman, and lo and behold, they came out with Gotham Knights that is 2-player co-op. They said that it was going to be co-op, but not how many players. Originally, I thought it was going to be 4 players, just because there are 4 knights. But that aside, the game is definitely fun because it caters to 2 people co-op, but it's definitely fun playing it solo by yourself. So I will rate the fun factor a 4.5 out of 5 and pass it over to Pineapple to talk about the graphics.
Fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with, the graphics are really, really good for the game. The only downside that I've noticed, at least from, a lot of comments and other people, is that they're really disappointed that the game's frame rates per second is locked into 30 and not open between 30 and 60. So it does let the graphics down a little bit, not having a faster refresh rate. But at the same time, the general graphics of the game are absolutely outstanding. Everything is crisp and clean looking. All the NPCs, like the pedestrians and other players that you're fighting and whatnot, everyone has really full and great detail of their characters. And the voice acting also for the NPCs and everything is really excellent. I know that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the graphics, but it does help when, you have a really good looking character in the game. So I would definitely say the graphics is a solid 4 out of 5. Like I said, the only downside is the fact that it is limited to 30 frames per second. But there are some hopes that Warner Brothers Montreal will be able to fix that in a future update and, open it up a little bit more. But other than that, I know I couldn't be happier with the graphics, and I know Maniac would say the same thing. We really enjoyed the graphics for the game, and we were very pleased at how appealing it is to the eye. So, on that note, I'm going to pass it over back to Maniac so he could talk about the gameplay.
Cool, thanks. And the gameplay is going to be different because the gameplay is obviously not an Arkham Trilogy game. It's set in a different universe. The thing that really kind of bothered me was, it doesn't really bother me, but something that they kind of took away and more or less added like a fancy evade is that there's no counter. Like, you can't block and attack an enemy. You literally have to evade and then attack. So I thought that that was different. And the mechanics of the game, certain things bother us to a degree. Pineapple, more or less, the running, and for me, I get stuck on certain objects for like a long time, and like I can't get around it unless I grapple or something. But that aside, is that like many games that we've given reviews, anybody can play this game if you just mash the X or Y button. But to master it, to evade, use your ranged attacks, the momentum abilities, the close range attacks, perfect timing attacks, and everything is, it takes a long time to master, but anybody can play it. So, on that note, I will rate the gameplay a 4 out of 5. Passing over to Pineapple to talk about the setup.
Fantastic. Fantastic, brother. Appreciate you. So one thing that Maniac and I both really liked was the similarities of the setup for Gotham Knights compared to the Arkham trilogy. It is very similar. It does have some differences, so if you're used to going through the menu and the setup of the Arkham trilogy, then you'll have no problem adjusting to the setup of Gotham Knights. It is very fluid and very easy to get used to and memorize. A few other things that we noticed that were similar is, the fighting style is similar but not exactly the same as the Arkham trilogy. But, like he said, anybody can play the game. It definitely takes some skill to master it, without a doubt. And I would definitely say that the fluidity of the setup of the game would easily give it 4 to 4.5 out of 5. And I'll pass it back over to Maniac for the blastability.
Sort of hideout.
Alright, thanks. I know that us giving that a positive review before the game came out, it was just because of all of the negative reviews and criticism towards the game. And me and Pineapple, we've talked about this. We think that people wanted the game to fail, but I don't know why. But I just think that people wanted the game to fail just so, they would have some validity for their, negative videos. I don't know why. I know that not many games are gonna have a perfect 5 out of 5 for any rating. But I would rate 5 out of 5 for the last ability, because I know for me and Pineapple, I'm gonna at least play through it 5, 6, 7 times. But Pineapple, he said he'll play through at least 4 or 5 times. I'll pass it over to him once I'm done with my 2 cents. So that aside, all the criticism, negativity, and everything towards the game, and as you talked, as I just said, wishing for failure for the game. I don't know why, but like I said before, it pulled a Warframe, and I'll pass it over to Pineapple to let you guys know what pulling a Warframe is, and for him to elaborate more on the last ability.
Fantastic. Now, before I get into pulling a Warframe, I've told Maniac multiple times that I'm going to play through this game a minimum of 5 times. My first 4 times, I'm going through the entire campaign with each character, and I'm not going to deviate from any of the characters on that specific playthrough. But the last playthrough, for sure, the 5th one, I'm going to be using all 4 characters and mixing and matching and, seeing what I enjoy the most. But when we say pulling a Warframe, Maniac had extremely high hopes for Warframe's biggest update, the new war, and his expectations were vastly surpassed by what the developers of Warframe actually did. So major kudos to them for that. And I will definitely say Warner Brothers Montreal definitely surpassed our expectations for this game. And like Maniac said toward the beginning of the video, he had extremely high expectations for this video game. I, on the other hand, didn't allow myself to get as hyped as he did, but I did stay informed, to some degree until the very last week right before it came out. And then he and I, we went over all the videos and content that they had previously came out with, so that way we could really be hyped for the game and speculate, exactly what we can and can't do. And we're both thoroughly pleased. I mean, just over the moon with this game. It got a lot of bad reviews, and I think part of it is people wanted it to be more like, the Arkham trilogy. But the developer specifically said that it's not going to be completely like the Arkham trilogy. It's going to have some similarities, but it is also set in a different timeline and different universe than the Arkham trilogy. So I think they did a absolutely fantastic job with this game, and I am super excited to see, what plans they have for the future of this game and where this game goes.
So, one thing that I'm going to add, early on in the stages of development for the game, they said, it was rumored, more or less, that they were going to come out with a Gotham Knights 2 because of all the positive feedback. I guess they should have given it a couple months to wait for all of the negative feedback and all the criticism on the game. But who knows? Maybe they'll just keep updating Gotham Knights like they should have Overwatch. I just think that Gotham Knights did it right rather than Overwatch 2, because Gotham Knights actually, they kept you informed on what's going on and what they're doing in production, rather than Overwatch. They came out with the reveal and they didn't say a single thing until the launch thing. So, on that note, I give the last ability a 5 out of 5, and that makes the overall of Gotham Knights a 4.5 out of 5. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and that you will click the 2 links above us, or check out the channel. That would be much appreciated. I'm Maniac.
And I'm Pineapple. And together we are the Tazmanian Knights. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like to become a Patreon, we do have a link to our Patreon support page down in the description. Until next time.
Catch you guys next time.